Across England, around 1 in 20 people sleeping rough are aged 18 to 25. This shows that young people are directly affected.
I think most homelessness probably comes from some kind of like broken aspect of their life. So it could just be from family, it could be some kind of finances, but I think for me specifically it was clashing at home. There's no like continuity with the people I had living at home at all. It was just continuous clashing and moving in different directions. So that led to homelessness, maybe not straight away, but pretty much eventually.
So the first one is food. Without stable housing, most of us can come out of a damaged home mentally and emotionally. We won't know the correct diets or have motivation, which interlinks with mental health. The second one is mental health. You'll never feel stable within yourself, so you'd have to keep focusing on adjusting to your living situation and not the other important things that young people who live with parents do with, like getting a car, education, or like a social life maybe. Money changes of like a lot of things. Change of rent or added service charge can impact your money situation, especially if you don't earn much or you're failing to get a job. Health, as in sleep. Sometimes you will lack sleep if you keep sleeping in places which aren't stable. I tend to have it hard sleeping when I kept moving around, like house to house. It's something that most of us can't avoid.
I think the challenges that they face would be centered around keeping busy while figuring out how the system can work and how the system can work for them. They have to meet people, they have to figure out who is who, what people can do what for them, talking to their MPs, getting their GPs involved, getting all these forms filled out. But a lot of the time when you're young, you have no faith or hope in these concepts because it's so daunting of a task to even think you can get to the goal. So it's literally micro steps at a time to get where you need to be.
The thing that I've definitely learned is it's definitely a lot harder than expected. It's definitely a lot more stress, a lot more wanting to be a little bit more free in a sense of you're only getting a certain amount of money, so you can't just go spending it, otherwise you won't have money to spend or save throughout the whole month.
I think one big misconception is that people are homeless because they do drugs or because they are like a bad person or because they can't get a job or because they aren't smart enough, just things like that. And I think there's a lot of like stigma around being homeless, and the second you tell someone, oh, by the way, I'm homeless, they automatically treat you differently.
You're busy with your lives and you just see someone who's homeless. You just see them as someone who might just be on the streets that doesn't have any form of system or any kind of purpose. You just think they're just waiting to get something off the counts.
I think people struggle to see how big it actually is. Like you go on the streets and you see people and they're like asking for money or for food or whatever, and you think, oh, those are the only homeless people. But in reality, there's homeless people everywhere, in hotels, in sofa surfing, like staying with friends, like staying in areas that aren't the city centre, like, in wooded areas, like in tents, everywhere. I think there's different levels of homelessness, and we only see what's, the worst of it. It's not categorically sleeping on the floor outside a shop. It can be sofa surfing, it can be moving friends' homes, family homes. It could be going from Airbnbs to hotels to hostels to shelters to sleeping on the floor outside.
some people are lucky enough to be able to have, you know, somewhere they can go and stay, you know what I mean, like a friends they could crash at for a few days, but not necessarily somewhere they can live. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't. A lot of, you know, young people who are homeless, unfortunately, have been through the care system, so they don't have that like family support or backup that the average person would.
Found that you didn't really want to bother friends or family because you were being a burden because you couldn't pay your own way. And they were like, oh, you'd have friends that go, oh yeah, come on, tell me about this. But you know eventually you'd just be getting on their nerves because you'd be sitting on their sofa. So I think with sofa surfing, what people don't understand about that is you're trying to find your footing, but family members or people around you, if you were to accept more sofas or be in people's places, they would only gain more annoyance from you with time, I believe.
"16 to 25s", the way I got introduced to them was I went to council a couple of years ago. I said to them, like, you know, I don't have anywhere to go, I'm only 17, 16 years old. And so they said to me, we can't do anything, but you can go to 16 to 25s and they'll try and help you. Now I'm coming here, I'm doing all the activities as much as I possibly can, just to stay active and not be in the accommodation so much, but also just to gain more skills that I need to work on, whether that's soft skills or hard skills.
We do a lot of different things in 1625. I'm going to get involved in like the trips and like the Heritage Board and IPA because that's what I have time for. But yeah, 1625 as a whole is like quite diverse.
I've been involved with 2 first aid courses, I spoke at 2 sleep outs, I've done the colleague conference video, I done some filming with ITV, I was a part of the Street Dreams project, I've done quite a bit of a recruitment. It's definitely helped me to network and I've been able to improve the skills I've got and like re-solidify that I do have them, because I knew like I could do this thing, but if you don't have a place to apply it, you don't actually know you can do it. You know, so because I was given the opportunity to apply these skills, I've actually impressed myself by being like, well, I can do it, you know, just with a little bit of training and perseverance, and there you go.
I had to do a lot of work within 1625 with my support worker Yaz, who helped me every step of the way, reinforce like kind of like positive outlooks on you've done this now you can do this, one step at a time, just constantly reaffirming the positive thing that you've done in the sessions with the one-to-one. And then eventually it's had an outcome.
The positive outcome that I have experienced from 16 to 25 is definitely the fact that I don't feel as miserable or don't feel as stuck as I would have if I was to not be doing 16 to 25s, if I was to stay at home 24/7 all the time, not have anything else to do.
16 to 25 has been like amazing in so many aspects. It's kept me away from negative relationships. I mean, friendships, other type of relationships, has kept me involved with people who are trying to do the similar things to me. There's no obligation to financially invest in the other people there, you're just there to absorb the service and get a fresher perspective, I believe. If I can now move on to the next part, which is not, you know, housing, job searching, staying in a job that I can actually stay in instead of just moving from one to the next, then I've got more than I've came for at 16 to 25.
I do hope in the future that I do get involved in a lot more, so that way not only am I having fun, but I'm also gaining a lot more experience and gaining a lot more visual and mental, emotional, physical health.
I think that part of the reason why so many young people that end up homeless and things are struggling so much is because they're not able to do those things. They might feel quite isolated and struggle with self-isolation and things. And I think that actually if there's like someone from like an outside thing to kind of like come in and say, actually, let's go and do this thing, it almost like helps give that young person hope again, that life isn't just completely shit, and that actually there's something to look forward to, you know what I mean? There's something bright around the corner.